Well, hi, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me here on July 24th. It's been a couple of days since I've been in the shop here. And the reason is, and I almost hate to say this, the weather here has been really wonderful the last few days. And so I've been outside, enjoying being outdoors. So I know much of the world is suffering from various climactic type problems. That's my coffee break alarm going off already. Hey, I just started. How could it be coffee break already? But here the weather has been really quite good. And earlier in the summer, of course, there was a lot of smoke in the air. That went away after about a week or 10 days or so. There hasn't been any noticeable smoke in the air around here since then. The number of fires in Quebec has gone way down. There are a lot of fires in Canada every year. Yes, this year is quite extraordinary. The fires are bigger and more numerous, but I believe the typical number of forest fires in Canada each year is somewhere around 8,000. 8,000 different fires. Wow. So this year I don't know what the number is. Bound to be higher, I would think. So anyway, that's the situation. Now, the last thing I was doing was trying to do alignment work on the radio and encountering an awful lot of, I guess, spurious oscillations would be the best technical term for it. An awful lot of nonsense is a word I would use for it in this radio, doing all kinds of weird things. So I discovered, and I didn't show you how I discovered this. I'm going to show you how I discovered the tube problem. I discovered that two more metal tubes have metal cans which are not grounded. Somebody took quite a bit of effort to ground the one you can't see back here where my hand is, which is still grounded, but the other two metal tubes that are in here do not have a grounded pin number 1. And so I ended the video saying I'm going to ground pin number 1. Now, how did I find this? Well, I'm happy to say I actually thought it up. I didn't just stumble on it. It struck me, and unfortunately, I thought the video was recording in my last video. It was not recording. And I did not show what I actually did. What I actually did was with the radio operating, I just laid my finger up against the side of the tube here. And when I did, the radio's operation varied. I don't think it should vary at all. You should be able to touch the outside of these tubes carefully, and it shouldn't cause the radio's operation to vary. So that suggested to me the tube can here is just a floating piece of metal. And they brought my finger up close to it, maybe even turning it into a bit of a capacitor by touching the painted surface here. Eject some noise or whatnot into the inside of the tube through the shell, or from the shell basically. That's how I realized, oh my gosh, I don't think this tube is grounded. And then when I inspected the pin, it was clear it was not. So what I'm going to do to ground it, I've been thinking about this. I can imagine somewhere down the road, years and years from now, somebody's going to want to pull this tube out. And depending upon how I've applied the ground wire, they will get it out, or they will not get it out, or there's going to be problems. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take pin number 1, which is this one here. I'm going to put a wire extension on it, but I'm not going to wrap it around the pin. Put a wire extension. I'm going to try to stick it right up through the hole. There's a hole in the bottom of all these pins, by the way. And when they make it, they push the leads from the tube down through here. They're all sticking out. Then they solder them back. Then they nip off the excess, and then probably polish this a little bit in some way. And you end up with that. So there's a hole there. I should be able to melt the solder and shove a wire up into here. Then the wire will be straight from the pin, be able to stick the wire down through the socket, have it protrude into the bottom of the radio. I'll solder it with a bit of slack. If somebody comes along and they pull this tube out, they're going to pull it out and the wire is going to come with it until the wire slack ends, and then it's going to stop. And they're going to go, what the heck is this? Now, if they have reasonable knowledge, they're going to figure it out pretty quick what the heck it is. And so that's my thinking. 30 years from now, somebody will figure it out. Then they're going to jump on YouTube or YouTube's successor, whatever that might be, and they're going to find this video. Yeah, this video forever. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put the wire in and get this radio operating and see if that doesn't just end all the nonsense. Okay, pin number 1 is here. I don't want to end up with a big blob of solder out on the outside of the pin. So that's pretty tough to not have happen. Just put a little touch of solder on it here. How far up the solder goes inside this pin. It could be all the way. So I don't know for sure that the gap is big enough for my extra wire to go in there. This is not working out. Not working out. This would drop right through. Not going to happen. Now this pin has no clamp in the socket, so there's a fair bit of space. So you know, I could potentially lap this. Lap it temporarily. It's getting very hot in my fingers. Whew, too hot. Okay, so we see how that went. That didn't go very good. Okay, alternate plan number 2. I don't have an alternate plan number 2. So I lost that piece of wire on the floor somewhere. Alternate plan number 2 would be to saw up close to the, ooh, this is really hot, got hot. Up close to the tube base here, wrap a wire and bring the wire down the side of the pin and then hope there's enough space in here to pass both the terminal and the wire laid up beside it. Now the wire, I could bear it off, so it wouldn't be too much wire. That's what I'm going to have to try. Okay, let's give it a try here. Okay, another piece of wire. I've already checked there's a nice ground pin just underneath. It's going to do the trick. Not far from the... let's try that. Whoops. So one thing I did do when I was not in the shop is I went out to yard sales. Yard sales not popular anymore, at least not yet again. One time, of course, you can go out and there were yard sales everywhere, every weekend. For years on end, it was a big thing here. I don't know if that's a Canadian thing or if it's happening all over the place, maybe in the United States. But not anymore. So I live in a city of 30,000 people. I found 3 yard sales. But at one of them, a guy was selling. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't strip this back far enough. I can pull the insulation on it. No. He's selling a snare drum. Oh my God, snare drum. I've been trying to teach myself drums for a couple of years. I'm just absolutely horrid at it because, you know, you got to practice a lot too, and you got to follow very strict practices with almost anything, right? But I just like banging around on them and making noise. And also, not that I was interested in it, but the fellow wanted to get rid of his hi-hat also with no cymbals. So he just has the hi-hat mechanism, you know, where you stomp with your foot and the cymbals bang together. So I ended up with that. Looked into this. You know, the cost of this stuff new is not as high as I would have imagined. So I still got it all for a heck of a deal. No doubt about it. But in the meantime, I've ordered, because it came without cymbals, I've ordered cymbals. So my wife's going to really be impressed when I start banging on all this stuff. Shh, don't tell her. That solder on there? Yep. So the idea is we have the wire just laid up tight to the pin here. We are. Okay, let's see what I got out of this. So I'm going to try to sink this down. On the right pin. I'm looking at it from the top. Maybe that's the problem. Okay, can you go in? Oh, I can't push it in. There it goes. Okay. Wow. Okay, when the time comes for that tube to come out. Oh boy. Hey, where'd the wire go? There it is. Okay, now this wire, I want it to go over to a ground lug located right here. You know what? It would be better if it did have a little bit of insulation on it. I'm just going to slide on a piece of this. I'll make you watch this one tube getting done, and then I'll just do the other one. That's right, with enough left out there. I forgot about that part almost. You can pull the tube out far enough to discover what I've done. Maybe I need to write a note or something on this radio. We don't know how far into the future something like this is going to go. It's shocking that it's still here today. If it's made it this far, if the radio's made it this far, it'll probably make it a lot farther into the future. That's what I keep telling myself, that all the radios that come here for a little rest and relaxation go on to live, productive lives for a long time. That's what I think is happening. I'm rescuing a lot of these radios. They are going from a life of risk that at any moment garbage might be where they're going, to the dump. And I'm their hero. What I also think about is the people who design this, put all the effort into designing and building it. They would appreciate knowing that somebody's doing what I'm doing at this point in time, that one of their creations has made it all the way into the next century. Wow! Really? The next century? Oh my gosh. okay, don't fiddle with it too much, Jim. Okay, that's one tube done. Do the other tube, and then we're going to try this radio out and see if this hasn't fixed the crazy problems with it. Okay, I think we're ready to find out if this actually worked. I've removed all the test equipment from the radio, so the radio is just sitting here. This is a lead to an antenna, nothing more than that. The ground side of the lead is not connected to start. And I think we're just looking around here. I think we're good to go. Grid cap's back on. The other tube didn't have one. Okay, here we go. Dim bulbs for sure. Anything bad going on? No, nothing bad going on. Okay, volume is down. Let it warm up here. It's going to settle down around 80 supply volts, I think, if I remember right. 81, 80 volts. What do we get with 80 volts? Not a lot. Okay, not to panic. Now we'll put this into broadcast. That's where it is. Okay, wow, is that quiet. Let's give it more than 80 volts though. Okay, now we're going to give it 113 volts, and these are really good volts. These are not lousy volts. These are good ones. Where's the volume? Really? You're going to go silent? Oh, what stupid thing did I do? What did I do? Come on, really? Maybe now I know why the guy didn't ground the other two tubes. No, grounding the shell shouldn't do anything. Okay, let's do a little signal injection here. That's on the detector tube. Okay, let's work our way back. Here's another one I can touch. Silence. Uh-oh. What has he done? What have I done? What dumb thing did I do here? There's no other grid cap tube in this radio, is there, that I can touch? No. Something's microphonic. Loose. Maybe a tube didn't make contact. Let me put it in. The wire I put on keeps the tube from sinking all the way down into the socket, but I can see the pins coming through. Maybe. Now this tube has a really loose socket, which I have not tightened yet. Let's wiggle that one and find out what goes on. Really? This is what you're gonna do? Radio? What am I doing here? That's dumb. What have I done? That's stupid. Stupid and dumb. There is another tube I can touch the grid. Ooh, that's a good sign. Which tube is that? Which tube is that? I think it's the 38C7. This is the 38C7, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I've done too many Philco radios in a row, and I've got them kind of mixed up in my head here. So I think I just touched the grid to this tube. That doesn't quite make sense. So you can see from the tuning capacitor there's a wire that goes to the grid of here. Ooh, maybe that's a problem. This tube's not in there right. I can see all the pins coming right through the socket. Did I knock something off? Did I not attach it to a ground? Yes, I did. Okay, so the volume's right up. I'm going to turn it down a bit so we don't get too startled. And I want to reach in and wiggle this tube. It's just in a spot where you really can't do that. So I don't want my hand to be grounded while I'm doing this. That's the challenge here. What have I got that's going to help with that? This really isn't the best thing. Big hunk of cloth here. How do you like that? Okay, so we're not getting in contact with this tube. Yeah, we are. Here we go. Fixed it. What exactly was it? I need to find out. It's just the tube in the socket because it's going to go loose again. Don't go near that. Tell you what, we'll leave it for now. If it acts up again, we'll go after it. So, what about the wonkiness? No wonkiness now. Wonky test. That's interesting. What's that? Something funny there. That just sounds like a very sensitive area. Okay. That was, oh, that was shortwave. Wow. Okay. This is broadcast. Still got something going on down here. So this might go away at the completion of the alignment. Let's take it right to the edge. Don't tune right there. Okay, let's get a station. I'm using an outdoor antenna which is lousy for broadcast. Let's try putting the oh, there's no antenna. Oh, that's a good thing. Let's put the antenna on it. That's going to boost the volume a lot. Yeah. Okay. What do we get now? Seems to have suppressed the wonkiness rating here. It's still there, but it's very suppressed. Okay, stations. So this noise, this funny rumbly noise, is something I hear in my shop all the time on AM radios. It's a signal in here. Don't know what it is. catch the ground from the antenna. See if we can do better with that. You never know. I never know. So 590 is right here where this wobble is. Nobody home. Okay, well, that's not the end of the road. I still have another thing I can try as soon as I find it. I gotta go find it. Okay, got a loop antenna at the ready, but we're still on the outdoor antenna because I want to try the shortwave side of things, which I may have not done with an antenna hookup. I want to go up around 9 megahertz right up in this area here. Anybody there? It's often a powerful station here. No. That weird, sounds like ignition noise, but cars don't do this anymore, do they? And nobody's car would sound like that. I don't know what this noise is that comes out all the time in my shop. We're going to do this. We're going to take the ground off, leave the wire connection, try again. Right around 9 megahertz. No. One of the things about trying to tune short waves is the stations sometimes are fading right out, or fading right in or right out. So you might hear it on the fade in, but then when you go to look for it, it's faded out. And everybody's faded out. You're getting nothing. So that's my lights, I think. Yep. My lights have their own broadcast frequency. Look at the precision of trying to tune this radio. Wow. This is a tough one. Well, they all sound like shortwave sounds to me. Even though we're not hearing anybody. Okay, that's enough for me. I've heard enough. I heard something. Good. Oh, okay, now we're going to try the loop antenna on AM. Go back to AM. Volume down. Loop antenna, you got to hook up both leads. There's no polarity to a loop antenna. So either lead can go either way. Loop antennas are tuned and directional. I'm setting this one in the right direction. Goodness knows if it's tuned anyway correctly. Okay, that sounds nice. I'll go down here. Let's try right in this area. Okay, so I'm going to tune the antenna now and we'll hear what happens on the radio. What is that sound? Okay. Now you might be answering my wistful questions here with comments on my videos, and I'm afraid I don't read the comments. Again, for a lot of good reasons I won't go into. There's some. Good show. Sounds like a hum, but I think. What station are they hearing along with all that noise? Okay, I don't have my little radio handy. Okay, so he's talking about sports. So this is 590. 590 should be down here. But it's not. It's way up here. So I think we're ready to continue with alignment. I think I've solved all the weirdness, practically all the weirdness. I think the last little bit, the funny thing that's going on when you tune down here on the broadcast band, is really going to go away when the alignment is corrected. That's what I'm going to hope for anyway. So tomorrow we'll deal with the alignment. Today I snuffed out the weirdness, I believe. So that's good. Very good. And now, why in heaven's name is somebody my age trying to learn to play the drums? Okay, and so I'm trying to learn not because I want to become a skilled drummer. Although that'd be nice. I don't think that's going to happen. I think I should have started when I was 12. But I didn't. So the main reason I'm doing this is opportunity has presented itself to me. At yard sales, I've picked up a set of electronic drums, including the drum computer head that does, you bang on the drum and the computer head decides what the sound will be. And I've had a lot of fun with that for the last couple of years. Developed zero drumming skill, but I know how to hold the sticks. Hey, that's a big deal. If you don't drum, and I'm finding all this stuff out, the exact way you hold those sticks is very, very important. So anyway, and of course, why did I buy a snare drum? $20, that's why. $20 snare drum, stand, and the hi-hat cymbal thing. $20, maybe buy it. So now I have this stuff. Why would I bother spending time trying to do this? Well, I believe, from the reading I've done and the things I've learned about our brains, is the number one thing our brain is doing is not thinking, it's moving muscles. When I'm talking here, I'm exercising the movement of muscles, the highly coordinated movement of muscles. That's what our brain really does. It really works on coordinated movement of muscles. Also, as you get older, the number of new synapses being developed in your brain versus the number that are going away, that ratio can change from a fairly good balance to a lot more going away than new stuff coming in. And why is this happening? In my view, it's because we might get into a rut later in life. That's one of the reasons I do this work, is to make sure I don't get in a rut. And so I have something that's sparking me all the time. Yes, it's the same thing kind of over and over, but this is complicated enough that and varies enough that it's not going to put me in a rut, I don't think. Playing guitar. I play guitar kind of the same way all the time. I'm kind of in a rut on that. So how am I going to make new synapses and try to restore this balance? I have to assume synapse destruction is running higher in my brain now than creation. So I need to do stuff to create new synapses to replace these ones which are being discarded because I'm not using them anymore, or whatever they might be. So by learning to drum, I am doing something physical, right? It's very, very physical. I'm forcing my brain to develop new skills with my hands, if you like, and out of that going to come new synapses. What this means is by the time I'm about 80 years old, I'll be as stupid as a fish, but give me 2 sticks and I'll be able to do this. That's my goal. So I think we have to take responsibility for the condition of our brains, and we have to do something. Sudoku will not do it. Sudoku thinking is not going to do it. It's movement. It's new movements. It's doing new things with your physical body that you haven't done before. That's forcing, and something with some skill. So you need a pretty good brain path to do the work. It takes a long time to develop those synaptic paths, or whatever you want to call them, structures in your brain. It takes quite a while. Get older, it takes longer. So that's why I am doing it. That's why I do a lot of things I do, because I'm thinking about my brain health. But one of the reasons for this is because my father lost his mind. He was pretty old. He was 85 when it was really obvious he was losing his mind. And he died. He was 93, so you can't complain too much about being, making it to 93. But by that point, he didn't really know who he was, where he was, or what was happening. But he's very happy, luckily. Some people at that point in their lives, they cannot generate happiness. But my father was happy, even though he was lost. So anyway, that's the motivations. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Now you know. Thanks a lot for watching the video. And tomorrow we will attempt to align this guy once more. And maybe this time we'll have more success without all the weirdness going on. Okay, see ya.